Hello, careers and psychology students. This is Dr. Sanborn, and I wanted to create a little video for you introducing the VIA assessment, which you're going to be taking and writing a reaction paper over. So first of all, VIA stands for Values in Action, and this test was designed to measure character strengths, which are also known as psychological strengths. So I'd like you just to think about for a minute what is meant by strengths, psychological strengths, character strengths. If you think about your own strengths, what does that mean to you? That answer I have for you comes from some authors, Lopez, Pedrati, and Snyder, who are researchers into a field of psychology called positive psychology. They define character or psychological strengths as a capacity for feeling, thinking, and behaving in a way that allows optimal functioning in the pursuit of valued outcomes. Well, what does that mean? That means that as a person, you are able to feel, think, and act towards something that you are wanting to happen, an outcome, a goal. And so I'd like you to think for a few seconds about what you think your strengths are as a person. What are your psychological or character strengths? Also, maybe think about your weaknesses. One little mini experiment you might want to try is to ask those same questions of your friends. What do you think your strengths are? What do you think your weaknesses are? And then pay attention to how quickly they respond to each question. Some people may be very willing to talk about their strengths, but not their weaknesses. Some people may be able to think of a lot of weaknesses pretty quickly, and it would be harder for them to think about their strengths. So why measure strengths? Why are psychologists, or at least certain kinds of psychologists, interested in this? Well, one reason is that for many years, and I'm sure many of you know this, particularly if you've taken abnormal psychology, but for many years, psychology has been more focused on measuring weaknesses or illnesses, mental illnesses. Okay, so there are a number of different manuals that are used for assessing mental illness. Some of you may be familiar with the DSM-5, Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders. Here are some previous versions of that. There's another classification called the ICD, which is International Classifications of Diseases. And this contains not just mental illnesses, but all kinds of illnesses. But the point is that for a long time in psychology, particularly, we've been really focused on figuring out mental illness. There's a good reason for that. Mental illness is really debilitating to many people, and trying to help them through that is a worthy goal. But at the same time, psychologists for a long, long time have ignored the good things about people, the strengths that they may have. And so there's really not a classification for strengths in the same way that there are classifications for mental illnesses. So let's talk a little bit more about this VIA. Again, that stands for Values in Action. And if you take a look at this website, let me go to that really quickly here for you. There are 24 character strengths that people can possess. And so this is just kind of a graphic of those. If you hover over, it will tell you what each of them is. Okay. But like I said, there are thought to be 24 different character strengths that people can have. So the authors who created the VIA, they wanted to find characteristics that were these things, widely recognized across cultures. So the VIA is supposed to be applicable to people of all different cultures, not just Western cultures, or not just those from the United States. These 24 characteristics are supposed to be psychologically fulfilling and satisfying. In other words, sort of like bringing meaning to people's lives. The character strengths are also morally valued. And I think what the authors mean by that is they're not valued for tangible results. So it's not like something necessarily that will make you money, but something that is considered, morally right to have. The character strengths are, if you possess them, they're not a way to diminish others. Okay, so they're strengths about you, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it draws upon weaknesses in others. Okay. The 24 are thought to be distinct, which means they're all different. They don't really overlap. Once you take the test, you'll see that you have a number of strengths, but each of them is at least supposed to be different from the others. And then lastly, each of these 24 character strengths is thought to be trait-like, meaning it's like something that's part of you that kind of defines who you are. Okay, so the VIA, again, values and action, is thought to have acceptable reliability and validity. And I'm not going to get into that too much here, but especially if you've taken Psychology 226 and 227, you have an idea, I hope, of what reliability and validity refer to. The thing you should know about the test for our purposes here is it's a widely respected test, and it's thought to be well constructed. Another thing that might be interesting to you is that it has been adapted to youth, so it's not just for adults. The VIA can be tested on kids too, and it's been tested in a wide variety of cultures, and there's just a few that I listed here, and it does seem to kind of transcend cultures, which is a good thing. And after you take the VIA, I'd like you to think about this question. Do you believe it was able to transcend culture? Do you think, based on the questions, that if they were translated into another language, they would be useful in other cultures? I also wanted to share this graphic with you. So the 24 character strengths are listed out here, but there's sort of a hierarchy to them as well. So there are sort of like 6 core strengths that people can have. And then as you see here, each of those sort of branches out into a number of kind of sub-strengths. So after you take your exam or your assessment, you may want to come back and look at this slide and see how all this fits together. Okay. Another thing I want to share with you really quickly here is this is a graphic from a journal article, and it's kind of interesting. And these are some of the 24 character strengths, but they're plotted on these lines. And as it says down here, the farther apart any two strengths are, the less likely it is that same person will continually or habitually show both. In other words, if somebody is really into leadership and teamwork, they're probably relatively low on these kind of characteristics like curiosity, creativity, and bravery. Not necessarily everyone is like that. This is just saying the likelihood is small that you would possess something over here and something over here, or something up here and something down here. So again, this might be a good graphic to look at after you have your results to kind of interpret. Are a lot of your characteristics kind of clustered in one area or another, or are you one of the few people who has maybe some over here and some over here? Okay, so really that's all I wanted to do, or to say, is to kind of introduce this to you so you'd have a little more context before you actually take the exam. It is the assessment. It is a 240 question assessment. When you finish, I just retook it myself. I've taken this a number of times. You should get a screen that looks something like this. So you'll get a readout of your top strength, your second strength, your third strength, down to your 5th strength. Okay. And again, if you go back and look at some of the slides earlier and some of the graphics, it may well help you interpret what your strengths are and what they mean. So good luck.